Okay, guys, I wanted to talk about what is going on right now in the world. And the first thing I want to show you guys is this video that is a sneak peek into what is being done behind the scenes. As certain administrations have mentioned, we need to put systems in place that will prevent the need for a quarantine so they can open the economy. Well, what is one of these examples of what is being put in place? Let's take a look at a drone that detects if you cough or sneeze, like something like allergies. I don't know if it alerts the authorities at that point or not, but it has to alert somebody. It also takes your heart rate, which is very interesting that they chose to do the heart rate. And I'm going to go over why that's interesting, but let's watch the video real fast. My question is, how many other conditions may have similar symptoms? So as you can see, it's detecting a fever or a high body temperature, heart rate, and respiratory rates from a distance, which are unique as a fingerprint, I might add, which I'm going to go over in a moment. So this is a extreme level of biometric surveillance being put into place under a crisis. And you'll notice in every major crisis, it's always taken advantage of to implement some of this surveillance capitalism. So that was that. What's interesting, as it mentioned, it takes the heart rate. Well, interestingly enough, this article mentions they can identify people uniquely by their heart rate, picking up unique cardiac signatures from over 200 meters away. So is this stuff going to be used purely for health? That's the real question now, isn't it? As we've all seen with pretty much all surveillance, it has been abused by certain people. And there's a large market to basically profit off of this. So I think this is the new industrial revolution. You know, the whole thing with 5G is faster speeds with these IoT, Internet of Things devices. A lot of this is going to be mostly surveillance and data gathering. So here's yet another thing that I did a video on not too long ago. They're actually putting millimeter wave body scanners, starting in Utah. A company called Liberty Defense is putting these in public places. They also mention in their advertisement video the ability to hide these body scanners. So why is that important? Well, people have like a propensity for cancer, maybe at a higher risk. The studies have shown these types of waves have caused cancer in radar operators and police officers. So is this the right thing to do? I mean, do we want to sacrifice liberty and freedom for a so-called guise of safety? Because I don't believe it's going to make us any safer. But today we're not talking about these so-called safety measures. We're talking about the biometric reaction and the security reaction to this current pandemic. So, right, what you see on the screen now is a investigation from Global Research, and they are noticing massive amounts of trucks at schools and other buildings. And these trucks are for installing telecommunications and also biometric security. So we saw that first drone video, that is implementing these as drones. But why would it not be the same for buildings, neighborhoods? Do you really think it's going to stop with drones? And drones are bad enough. The question is, who's going to control these drones? And who's going to have access to the data? Is it going to violate HIPAA for people in the U.S.? This type of stuff is extremely frightening, and it is also expected. As Rahm Emanuel, former IDF and also Barack Obama's chief of staff put it, and also the mayor of Chicago, he put it, never let a crisis go to waste. And what I mean by that is we can do things we couldn't otherwise do. So this is what we're seeing now. We're seeing major corporations in biometrics maximizing their profits off the fear, off all of this stuff. There's a lot of articles out there on it, but not all of them are mentioning how deep some of this biometric stuff goes and where it can be used to basically fingerprint you, like with the heart rate, for example. That can be used to uniquely fingerprint you. And who's to say it isn't going to be integrated with the already massive AI systems, which it obviously is going to be integrated into artificial intelligence. But is it going to be used for labeling people? Is it going to be used for basically associating your heart rate with your name, so anytime you go to a location, you are quickly identified as so-and-so? Is it going to lead to, let's talk about social credit scores? In a lot of ways, we already have social credit scores online. When you consider the fact that what you post and what you say politically will change your search rankings. For example, my videos on privacy do not go very high on certain platforms. I will not name them. I'm sure you can figure it out. But I'll tell you, some of my videos are going a little higher in the rankings. But what's interesting is some of the views disappear. But that's a subject for another video. The point is, this crisis is being taken advantage of in order to install more invasive surveillance. And this type of stuff is going to erase any semblance of privacy, even in your own home with smart homes, etc., etc. They mentioned data gathering for the red flag laws, where they're going to use smart devices in order to determine who has the right to defend their life and their family in their own home. So this stuff is concerning. A lot of this biometric surveillance stuff is going up in the name of, safety and health. We are seeing a massive deployment in the name of health, but of course you are quarantined, so you cannot even protest it. That is an interesting way that all of this has lined up perfectly for the biometric surveillance unveiling. So, as this article also mentions, the temperature pitching, what are they going to do? But the question is, how is this going to be used? Is it going to be abused? And when they detect someone with a slightly higher, body temperature or a allergy and they sneeze, are they going to round them up, or are they going to, follow them? We really don't know. I'm not going to, get conspiratorial here, but as we all know, this type of stuff can be abused. And I'm just going to end it here with this video here, and you can think about it, leave me a comment, ask a question. If you want to see other stuff like this, let me know, because it doesn't make it very high in the search rankings. But if people who subscribe want to see it, I'll be happy to focus on this type of stuff more often. So anyhow, please like the video, share it, and subscribe, and I'm going to leave you with that video. This is our future. Are you okay with it? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this type of deep biometric surveillance being where you live.